Hey, what's up guys, it's Tom here, and before you watch this long video, and I promise it's gonna be worth it, just wanna give you guys a very quick backstory of how this video even came about. So I was invited by Chris and John from Zonguru. They host monthly meetups in the Los Angeles area, and I was able to actually have the opportunity to go there and speak in front of 50 plus sellers, and it was such a good experience. I held nothing back, everything was behind the curtains, and I shared my story literally from the very beginning to where I am today. So if you're interested about how I got started on Amazon FBA, how I was able to scale my business from $0 to $200,000 per month, this is a great piece of content for you to watch or listen. And before I let you guys watch this video, just want to share one more thing with you guys. Lately, I've been posting a lot of YouTube content more than I have before. And what I noticed is there's a lot of fucking trolls on YouTube, right? Because they just have their username, they don't have their profile picture. It's not like Facebook where it's connected to their personal profile, right? So they click dislike, they write dumb shit, right? But hey, you know what? There's one quote that says, winners focus on winners and losers focus on winners. So for example, the video that I posted yesterday, that was an amazing piece of content because I literally let you guys know what I'm doing to grow my skincare company. And then right after I posted, within the first like 10 seconds, I got like 2 people disliking it. But you know what? That's the funny part, is that for some reason they do not like me. And you know what? That's completely okay. Like, not everybody in the world is gonna like me. That's completely okay, right? But the fact that they would dislike the video, and they probably didn't watch the video, because if they watched it, they would have liked it, is their loss, right? Because I dropped so many golden nuggets. I'm telling you guys how I'm gonna be scaling my business outside of Amazon. So I'm literally laying everything out, and they're like, oh, screw this Tom guy, dislike, and they don't watch the video. That is absolutely their loss. So anyway, guys, I've been doing this YouTube thing for about a year. I know that I don't have the biggest subscriber base and whatnot, but I appreciate the fact that there's 6,000 of you guys now and that are watching me, you know, talking and documenting my journey and whatnot. So yeah, just want to say thank you to those who started with me from day one and those who joined the journey recently. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I poured my heart and soul out in front of these 50 people. And I really think that you're going to enjoy the story and the practical advice that I'm about to share. So make sure that you guys hit the thumbs up, support your boy, show me some love, and yeah, and leave me a comment, guys. Like, I read every single comment. So if you want to engage with me in that way, follow me on Instagram, DM me, whatever. I love to hear from you. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about this piece of content. It's a long one, so minimize it, enjoy it, sit back, relax, and see you guys in the next video.
Welcome to Amazon's Seller Insights. So this is a series, we do it once a month, and we bring in sellers from around the country, and we bring in people who are crushing it on Amazon. And you know, the idea behind that is to really just learn from them, get insights from them, and just be inspired by them to help fuel your own Amazon journey and to give you inspiration to really move forward with your business. So I'm excited to have Tom Wang here. He's the second Canadian. We had Tabrez, who was here last time, from Vancouver, and you know, wow, what a story. You know, he got kicked out of college. You know, 20 employers turned him down, and then in a little over a year and a half, I think, he started from zero and he's created a $200,000 a month Amazon business, and that's an unbelievable, incredible story, and I'm super stoked to kind of chat to you today. And I think you're a little crazy, bro, because you know, to be able to do that in such a short amount of time, I think you have to be a little bit crazy. But you know, through our conversations, I think what you're going to hear from Tom today is he's a deep soul when it comes to business acumen, especially in this space, and he's got a lot of knowledge to share. He's got a vision, and he's driven, you know, and that's what you really need in this business. So I'm excited to hear from you. So thanks for being here today.
Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little news just to share with you guys just before we jump into it. But yesterday I was up in Seattle. I went to Amazon's headquarters. I went to the Spheres and the whole Amazon area there just to meet with Seller Central. So luckily enough, I've managed to get a meeting with Seller Central, and the first thing is I want to tell you guys is they are human. You know, behind Sdara Central, there's a bunch of people really working hard for us and for obviously the Amazon customer, but they're really excited about us as sellers and helping us to be successful in the space. So I went to meet with them because they are in beta right now, but within Seller Central, they're going to be including a bunch of their recommended third-party seller applications and software, and so they wanted to meet with me to move forward on that, and it looks like we're going to move forward. So I just wanted to share it with you guys in terms of, you know, being able to go there and experience the Amazon machine and to be part of it. It was a pretty interesting experience, and just really interesting to engage with them and see. You know, they all have, I think it's up to 17 different principles that they have right now. The Amazon principles, if you're not familiar with what they are, look it up, but they have these very specific principles created by Jeff Bezos that they follow to move their business forward, and I would encourage you to look those up because you can apply them to your own Amazon business as well. Anyway, so I just wanted to share it with you guys. Let's dive into it. You know, firstly, I want to hear the crazy story of why you got kicked out of college. You know, what about the 20 employees that turned you down? What was your headspace like? You know, what was going on there when all that was happening?
Yeah, so my name's Tom from Vancouver, Canada, and man, where should I start? Okay, so graduated from high school in 2009. My parents are traditional, like, immigrant Chinese parents, so the only thing they care about is education, right? And I always like to take the shortcuts. Like, for example, in high school, I found this like online Christian school in grade 12 where you can actually take all your courses online and still use that to transition into like university. And all the tests are done at home in front of a computer. So I had one screen open here, Google and this, and just like, you know, pretty much cheated the system, I guess. Got really good grades in high school due to that, and went to a really good university called UBC, and I convinced my parents that I really wanted to live on campus, and went to the frat parties, and just pretty much the reason why I got
know where this is going. Yeah.
Pretty much the reason why I got kicked out of the UBC first year was because of my academic grades. Like,
oh, okay. Not because you did some crazy.
No. I wish there was a better story. I dealt drugs or something, but no. I begged the counselor. Like, I'm like, I will take summer school. I'll take this. They're like, no, like you cannot come back. I was like, all right, well, that's the end of that. Told my parents, extremely disappointed. Like, words cannot even describe what they were going through. And then yeah, anyway, went to another college. I remember one day in college, we were walking around the campus and learning about like trees. I remember that day so vividly. I'm like, what the am I doing here? Like, why am I learning about trees? And then at that point, I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm done with that college. So I just told my parents I was going to school, but I really wasn't. I was like going to the casino and just a bunch of stuff, right? Hanging out with my friends. And then quit that school, so dropped out of that school. And then I went to another one called Quantland, and same thing. Like, the stuff that we're learning in school was not applicable. Like, I wasn't really engaged. Again, dropped out of that. So that's 3 universities in 3 years. And then I went to one last one called BCIT. It was more of a technical school. Really wanted to get into the entrepreneurship program. And because it was full, I had to join another program. This is a sales and marketing program. And they essentially put 3 years of curriculum into 2 years. And what's different about that school is that it's like high school again. Like, you have different sets, there's only 30 students, and you actually form relationships instead of going to college and you walk to a lecture hall with 400 students, you sit down, you take notes, you don't know the professor's name, professor doesn't know your name. At BCIT, if you miss 10% of your classes, you actually get automatically kicked out. And more importantly, the stuff that I was learning was actually applicable to what I want to do. And the teachers that were teaching these classes had actually had industry experience. They used to be in sales, they used to be in this and that. Now they're teaching out of passion and whatnot. So that got me really attracted, and I ended up finishing the 2-year degree program. It was just it was a really good experience because everybody, like, we had real friends in college and everybody kind of hold each other accountable. So one of the things that this school is really well known for is the fact that because it's so hands-on, employers know that now, they want to hire people out of the school right away. So, you know, it's almost like 90% guarantee you get a job right after school. So I had that hope, right? Had that expectations. And then when I started applying for jobs, no one wanted me. Because, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I think it's because I actually didn't have the word sales representative in the title, in my resume, anywhere. I knew that I had people skills. I knew that I had this and that. But as an employer perspective, they have 30, 50, 60 students who literally says sales representative from this year to this year, and they also had references that they can call upon. I didn't have that. So everybody started getting jobs, you know, this person got a job, that person got a job, and we're all connected. So everybody's like, ooh, like, good job, good job. And for me, I'm just like, shit, like, what am I doing, right? So I kept applying for jobs, and I remember this one company that I applied for, and this is when I would say that's like literally the deepest, the most bottom, the lowest, like, it was a really good job. It was an account management job for a startup in Vancouver. On target, first year was 80,000. And for me, I really, really, really wanted to make 100,000 first year out of school. Like, that was my goal. I was down to do anything, like, you name it. I was willing to work my ass off to achieve that goal. Just like a benchmark that I had for myself, right? Plus it sound kind of cool, like 6 figures kind of thing. Never had a real job before, so that's my goal. And I remember applying for that software job, and the guy was like, I met with the CEO, and then people are like, oh, you know what, you're not a good fit. I'm like, I will work for free for 3 months. I have that email still, and sometimes I look back on it. I'm like, I will work for you for free for 3 months, and if you see value in my services, then hire me. If you don't, you get a free employee for 3 months, because I know I can do it. And then I was like, all right, whatever. And then
So what was the moment that you know, you obviously hit the lowest of the low, but what was the moment that you found out about Amazon, and what was the switch for you that really got you to focus and go down that path?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just going to finish that part of the story. So I met someone, connected with someone, and she knows a lot of people in Vancouver. I went out with coffee for her, and she's like, you should apply at Yellow Pages. I'm like, Yellow Pages? Like, phone book company? She's like, well, they do a little bit more than phone books now. So I was like, all right, whatever, what do I have to lose, right? Went for a job. They have very high turnover rate, but I got the job like right away. And they're like, hey, your base is $22,000. I'm like, I don't have any better options, so I have to take that job. So no sales experience. I went into the first day of class, and our first day of work. One guy came to our training. Said, hey, my name is Pavan. I've been working here for 5 years. I've been #2 in the country for the past 5 years. I made $250,000 last year selling digital advertising at Yellow Pages. And he showed us his pay stub. And at that point, it was like a huge mind shift for me. I'm like, this is possible, right? And I feel like so many of us will have that mental barrier, mental block. For me, that mental block was completely removed because I knew it was possible that this guy sitting in front of me right now is making $250,000 a year. So I told myself that I'm gonna be a sponge. I'm gonna learn everything about sales from this guy. So I bugged the shit out of him, and I asked him for like his calls because it's inside sales, so it's all literally just like phone calls. I got his phone calls, I asked him for his recordings, I practiced in front of the mirror, I write them down, practice to work, on my way back to work. And I also noticed that his numbers are, his call duration and call count every single day, because it's public, it's always like number 1, number 2. So I copied that as well. I'm like, that's not a secret. Like, this guy is calling as many people as possible, he's picking up the phone, he's dialing. So I emulated that as well. And then fast forward a year later, he actually finished number 2 in the country again, and I finished number 3. So I just learned everything I knew about sales through that guy. And then during that time, right when I started at Yellow Pages, that's when I started my Amazon business. So I was kind of juggling Yellow Pages, I was juggling Amazon, and really Amazon was one of those things for me. It's like, let's try it out. Like, why? I started like a hoverboard business. That's like selling those hoverboards. Wow. And then failed miserably because I didn't have any e-commerce experience in the past. And I was naive enough to think like, oh, if I brand this, if I build a beautiful website, if I have social media accounts, I can actually, people will come and buy it. That was not the case at all, right? Because with e-commerce, there are two pillars. Number one is traffic, number two is conversion. Traffic is just how many people are coming on your store, but if they're not converting into a real customer, there's no point. But if there's no traffic, then obviously there's no point either.
Yeah.
So during that time, that's when I met someone who was selling on Amazon. He said, give me these hoverboards that you have, and let me list them on Amazon. So I'm from Canada. At that point, I thought Amazon was still like a used textbook website. And the second that he just got our photos and copywriting. That's it. He didn't ask for anything else. Give it all to him. The first day, we sold 2 hoverboards. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but to us, it was. Because we were spending so much money on Facebook ads. I didn't even know email marketing, Facebook ads, or anything that was a thing. Like, I had no e-commerce experience at all. But then for him to just be able to post a couple pictures on Amazon, and that's when I was like, all right, like, what's going on here? Let me find out what this Amazon FBA thing is. And he sent me a really good excuse me, case study by some kid in Seattle at that time who documented his entire journey. And I read it. I was like, this makes a lot of sense. Like, the business model itself makes a lot of sense, and I want to try it. So that's how I got into the Amazon FBA world.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that there was a really interesting theme there about, you know, how you got into Yellow Pages and that you found someone that effectively was one of your first mentors, I would say, in a way, because you copied him, you did everything that he did because he's successful at it. And I think that's a really good lesson if you are starting, that, you know, find people like Tom, even, you know, you have a course, etc., but find people like this who you can copy and understand exactly what they do, and just really just copy exactly what they do, and that's it, and you'll get there. So it's a good theme. Even though it was Yellow Pages, you can apply that to your Amazon business or any business.
Absolutely. Like, the fastest way to learn something is to learn it from someone who's been there and done that, period. Like, that's literally, if you want to hack, like, that's the hack. You find someone who's been there and done that, who's gone through the path, and who has achieved what you want to achieve, and you just copy them. You just build relationship with them, provide value to them, but don't just be a one-way, like, don't just take, right? Because that person is a person as well. Like,
good point. Yeah.
So you need to provide value to that person so that you guys can build a relationship, and then just learn everything there is to know about what that person's doing. Like, literally emulate every single aspect of his actions, the way he talked, or in my case, it was literally like I sounded exactly like him on the phone. Like, it was identical, pretty much. Yeah.
It's funny, sometimes we want to be different, and we think we can do it better, but, you know, if you just stick to that, it really does work.
Yeah, and then once I found that it was successful, and then I added my own little twists and turns.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got into Amazon, you built this amazing business, and I think we can get into some tips in a second, but maybe let's just start with product research strategy.
Yeah.
I know that's an area that you are passionate about. We'll touch on a couple of those, but maybe give the guys here some insights into your product research strategy and how you've gone about building that business.
Product research, I would say, arguably, is one of the most important, if not, I would say it's one of the most important aspects of Amazon business. So I launched my first product. It was a vitamin C serum, because my girlfriend was actually the one I was doing product research, so I'm blaming it on her. But she's like, oh, let's sell this vitamin C serum. I was like, oh, all right, like, numbers look really good. Like, and then at that point, you can actually still buy reviews. You can actually launch by buying a crap load of reviews and rank on page 1. And right before we launched, that was taken out. So it was like slap in the face, like, all right, what do you do now? We had no idea, right? Anyway, the vitamin C serum is one of the most competitive products you can sell on Amazon. So we started on a black diamond for skiers and snowboarders, like green hill, blue hill, black diamond. Anyway, and then
double black, I would say.
Double black. But anyway, that did okay. Like, first month did $8,000.
Wow.
Which, like, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I was like literally sending inventory to Amazon, getting a few reviews. And at that point, again, it was another mind shift change. It was like, all right, well, this works, right? And then we're like, all right, so something happened in between where our sales dropped off completely. Like, our keywords started getting indexed, de-indexed. I started changing everything. I started getting really, like, nervous. And then after I changed everything, sales just plummeted to like $1,000 per month. And then we're like, all right, well, we can't just keep selling vitamin C serum. We need to launch another product. The other product we launched was a silicone makeup sponge for women. So it was a huge fad. It was a massive fad. How you can tell if it's a fad or not is you can use Google Trends. You type in the keyword, and then you can literally see the search volume goes flat, and then suddenly a spike, and then suddenly a spike down. You never, ever want to sell a product that has that type of graph. You want to go something that's like a little bit steady, a little bit up, and you don't want to go something that's down, obviously, as well, right? So we ordered 2,500 units, and by the time we actually launched the product, the market has completely already died. And at that point, I actually wanted to give up on my Amazon business. I remember driving home one day, I was like, hey, like, screw it. Amazon probably, you know, like, we're dumping a lot of money, a lot of time. Vitamin C serum, we did 8,000, which is cool, and then now we're doing like nothing, sponges, whatever, we're putting so much work. And then she's like, no, like, you can't give up. It obviously works, let's launch more products. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna give this one more product, one last shot, and then see how it goes. At that point, I started reaching out to people. Because how I started Amazon was literally just free content on YouTube. I didn't even know there's Facebook groups at that point. Okay. But it was like looking at information on YouTube, blogs, podcasts, that's about it. But then now I started establishing relationships with people that are actually selling well on Amazon. And when I first launched the silicone makeup sponge, that's when I started documenting my own journey as well. So I just put myself out there doing reviews of what I'm doing. You know, did this work, did that work? Just sharing my experience. And I guess people, like, the more value you provide to the world, you know, you can get connected with other people. So other people are willing to help me as well. And I got help from a few mentors at that time. And then we focused on finding the right product. We learned what worked, what didn't work when it comes to product research. And then the third product was the one that really revived our business. And then from there, we just scaled. But when it comes to product research, fat is number one. Never, I know numbers.
So, and the way you check that is with Google Trends. Yeah.
I know that it might look like amazing right now. The numbers are, but if you see the spike, whatever comes up like that will come down. Another thing is you have to know how much money you're playing with. That should be the first question that you ask yourself when it comes to product research. How much money do I have right now that I can invest into my business? And if I lose it, then it's whatever. But if I lose that money, like, hopefully you still have a roof over your head and food to eat tomorrow, right? So there's a fine line. Because once you establish that budget, it's like going to the casino again. Like, it's a cash flow game. Once you're out of cash, you're done. This business is over for you, right? So know how much money you have to play with, and then go on from there. Because let's say you have $50,000, which is a lot to start your Amazon business, right? You can look for products that are a little bit more on the expensive side, higher ticket items, because it's less competitive in that area. Because right now, all the gurus are teaching people like, oh, find something that's between $10 to $15 that fits in the shoebox, that is this and that. Yeah, there are still available options, but it's just a little bit more competitive. But let's say if you only have $3,000 to start with, then that's your only, you can only launch products that are that cheap. And then one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of beginners make is the fact they don't order enough inventory right off the bat. I always recommend minimum 2 months of your competitor's sales. So let's say if your competitor is selling 1,000 units a month, then you want to order at least 2,000 units. Because what's going to happen is once you order the inventory, you need to have a successful launch, right? And in order for you to have a successful launch, I mean, there's different ways to launch, but one of the most common ways right now is doing giveaways, right? Just like giving away a lot of units, build up that sales velocity, and rank on page 1. But if you only have 200 units, you need to give away 300 units. How are you gonna, like by the time you go on page 1, you're gonna out of inventory, you're screwed, right? Because during that launch phase, you're losing a lot of money by doing giveaways. And then also something that's really important when it comes to product research is looking at revenue versus reviews. So what I like to see, and again, there's so many different ways to do product research, guys. It's like shooting a basketball. Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, they shoot differently, but they're all good players. It's the same thing, right? So I like to see people on page 1 with less than 50 reviews that are doing at least 300 units a month, which is 10 units a day, and at least doing like $5,000 in sales, minimum. And I want to see as many of those as possible, right? And then the other one is obviously demand. Like if there's no demand in the marketplace for your product, who are you going to sell it to, right? So how you can judge demand is Amazon gives that data to you. It's called BSR, Best Seller Ranking.
Rank.
Yeah, rank. I want to see people on the first page with low BSRs, as many as possible, because what BSR is essentially is a relative number, right? How well is this product selling compared to everybody else in that category? So the lower the BSR, so let's say if you have BSR 1, that means your product is the best selling product in your category, and then so on and so forth. So I want to see people that are under like 3,000 BSR on page 1. That means there's actually demand in the marketplace for your product. And then don't sell trendy products because those are fast, that will always go away. Sell something, and then obviously like sell something that you can improve on. You don't want to just sell another like copper cup, right? Like that's a commodity. You want to have some sort of a differentiating factor where you can come into the marketplace and really provide the customers with more value. And the best way for you to find out what the customers are looking for is what? Amazon customers are telling you that in their reviews. Like that's literally real customer language. So let's say the coffee cups, the copper, whatever, stainless steel mugs, right? People are like, oh, you know, it's leaving too many fingerprints. Well, go to the manufacturer and be like, hey, customers are complaining about this feature. Make sure that your coffee cups doesn't leave fingerprints. There was something else I wanted to say as well, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of nuggets in that, and I think that a couple that stood out for me, cash flow is 100% something you need to look at, and it's not just like, oh, how much money do I have? It's how much money do I need to be able to compete on page 1? So that idea of sales velocity is really important. You have to understand the sales velocity for that page 1, because ultimately you want to get there through giveaways and then stay there, but be able to stay in stock. So cash flow is and actually on Zonguru, our Chrome extension, we have a launch budget guideline which factors exactly that in, and I think we're the only guys that do that. So cash flow is really important, and this idea of differentiation and how that's a softer skill you have to learn, but you know how you can differentiate and looking at reviews, that's amazing. And one I would probably add to that I don't think you mentioned is that you sell something at a high enough retail price so that you can make enough margin, and you have margin to play with. You know, so something over at least the 20 to 25 and above is where you need to be, so that you can make margins, so that you have money for PPC, you have those kind of things. So that's the only one I'd probably add to
exactly. Like let's say you sell a product for $10, right? Let's say, oh, I found a good product for $10. Well, that product, that if you source from China, that's going to cost you maybe $2. I'm just throwing arbitrary numbers out there, right? $2. Amazon usually takes 30% of your selling price, so $10, that's $3, so that's $5, and then other fees, then that's like, let's say $7. Well, now so 10 minus 7, you have $3 left, but you still have to do advertising, PPC, Facebook ads, miscellaneous stuff, right? And $3, what are you going to do with $3, right? So I always recommend my students or whoever is at least $10 after all the fees, after all that. That way you can, you know, have a variable cost. Let's say, oh, I want to put $2 aside for PPC, $2 aside for Facebook. Then you still have $6 left, which is not bad.
Yeah, run those numbers. That's a really, really important thing to do before, you know, because at the end of the day, if you launch a product, it's going to take you 2 to 6 months to really put the effort in to launch that product and get it onto Amazon, suppliers and all that kind of stuff. And would you rather spend 2 to 6 months of the same effort where the resulting product earns you, you know, $1,000 or earns you $50,000? And so, you know, you've really got to, like, product research is absolutely critical, and you've got to have the margin in there. Otherwise, you know, what's the point of doing it?
That's where most, I mean, take my story for example. I failed the first 2 products. I almost gave up. And I know that a lot of people, like without my girlfriend, I would have given up for sure. Like I wouldn't be where I am sitting here talking to you guys. So, and a lot of people, because they take the wrong information, like one of the things I realize now in our industry is that when someone wants to sell on Amazon, where do they go to? YouTube. That's like #1 spot for information right now, right? It's free. Awesome. But free is not always good. Free is not always good. Like I'm sure you guys bought something that's cheaper and it broke after 2 days. And you're like, damn it, I wish I spent the extra $10 to buy something that I should have bought that's quality. Same as information. A lot of people now take information from the wrong people and they fail before they even start because they're telling you the wrong information. And once you have that wrong information, you go execute, you're already failed right off the bat. So it's very important for you to know who you're getting information from. Like it's so important. Yeah. It's extremely important.
Yeah, and another spin on that is that if you pay for something, your incentive to make that thing work is way, way high. If you're going to pay $3,000 to $10,000 for a course, you're sure as hell going to make sure that you launch that business and get your money back versus getting something free where you're like, if I fail, it doesn't really matter. So, okay, I mean, that's some great nuggets on product research, and I'm sure if guys have questions at the end, we'll come back to that. But let's move on to another one, which is obviously really, really key, which is your listing. And how do you go about, or what are some of your insights into listing optimization and that whole process?
Yeah, so for me, two things are three, I guess. So we'll talk about the first one, which is reviews. I believe reviews on Amazon is gold. If you have the ability to get a lot of reviews, I truly believe you can launch really in any niche. So reviews nowadays, because Amazon's changing so fast, people are getting blocked from leaving reviews. We don't really know what's going on right now. Like, why are some people getting blocked? Why are us? Like, I know people that didn't buy any reviews, all organic reviews coming in, they still got blocked. And I know people that did other stuff that are not supposed to do, they didn't get blocked. So there's no answers in our space right now. It's very up in the air. So reviews, obviously, like, I still believe the easiest ways to get reviews is through family and friends. All you need is just 10 reviews right off the bat, and that's like more than enough for you to really start scaling. But just make sure that they haven't like been inside your house. Make sure that, like, a better way is like a friend of a friend. That's the best way. When they buy your product, you know, get them to
IP address.
Yeah, like some sort of a degree of separation, right? Use at your own disclosure, but it is what it is. Like, if you read Amazon's terms of service, like, oh, no incentivized review. Shit, like, how are you supposed to get reviews then, you know? It's going to be really difficult. So that's reviews number one. Make sure you guys have really good reviews. Get people to leave photos on the reviews. Get people to leave videos on the reviews and whatnot. So number two is your photos. Photos are so important on Amazon. When people are scrolling through Amazon, they're just looking at images and reviews and price. So you need to make sure that your photos are like on point, they're really crisp, and don't just cheap out on that stuff. I know so many people that it really frustrates me because they invested so much money into their product, and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna save a few dollars on the photos. I'm gonna take it with my iPhone. Come on, like, you already invested so much money into your product. Make sure that it's the best possible listing out there, aesthetically speaking. So what I always recommend is 3D rendering. 3D rendering is essentially creating images using some sort of computer software. And I can maybe post my 3D guy in the group, and then everybody can use him. He's awesome. And 3D rendering is what I recommend, if not using really good camera and just pay for it. And then when it comes to the images, you get nine slots or 12 slots or something, I forget.
Depends on the category. But
yeah, but you get a series of images. Make sure that series of images tell a story, not just here's this angle, here's that angle, here's this angle, here's that angle. Like, when someone click on the first image, that's the main image. That's just the product, right? But then all the other images after that needs to be strategically placed. For example, I believe the sixth image is the last image you can view on mobile. Don't quote me on that, but there's a last image on mobile. That image, I always put money back guarantee. Why? Because if they're scrolling, and they're the last image, they're pretty much like sold. But if I can just tell them like, hey, there's no risk for you. If you don't like it, you have 30 days to get it back. I'm trying to increase their confidence, and hopefully they buy from there. We always recommend things like lifestyle images. Lifestyle images are just, let's say if I'm selling this cup again, right? I don't want to just have that cup on a white background. I want to have that cup of someone using it. All my images answer the questions who, where, how. How is huge. You're not going to buy a product if you don't know how to use it, right? So show people how do you use this product. And then use like infographics, use things to just like tell a story from the beginning to the end. Who this is for. If vitamin C serum, it's mostly for women. So what if you have images of these, women from, all ages, all races, like using your product? Well, people like can be relatable to that. Like, oh, that's me, right? Yeah, so that's with the images. And I have a guy for that as well, so if you guys want him.
Yeah.
And then the pretty important up there is keywords. So this is the part where when I first started Amazon, I had absolutely no idea how to do keyword research. I'm like, I knew that I wanted to rank for vitamin C serum, but like, how do I get on page 1 for vitamin C serum? How does the algorithm work? It's actually really, really simple. People go on Amazon to buy products, right? So they're gonna type in vitamin C serum, and they're gonna scroll, and they're gonna buy one listing. That listing, so they type in vitamin C serum, they found a listing on the 10th page. If they bought that listing, Amazon reward that person for vitamin C serum, and that person like raise up a little bit because it makes sense, like, right? So, but the thing with vitamin C serum is that there are so many different ways to find vitamin C serum. So vitamin C serum for face, face serum, best face serum. I'm just trying, like, there's so many different ways to look for one thing, right? So everybody have different ways to look for a product. So what you want to do as a seller is you want to tailor to as many people as possible. Obviously, there's going to be keywords that have 1 million searches per month. So vitamin C serum is like the top keyword, right? But then there's going to be other keywords where there's not that many searches per month, but if you have like 10 of them, 20 of them, it builds up. So before, it was really hard to do keyword research. Now it's extremely easy, extremely easy. Do you have a keyword tool?
We don't. No, we don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the keyword tools I use I use a lot of keyword tools because I want to make sure that I can get as many keywords as possible. Viral Launch, WordTree, Seller Tools, Helium 10. These are all great keyword tools. And then you just want to put in your listing, put in your competitors, and it will just start spitting back like, oh, this keyword is the most relevant. This is the second most relevant. And all you need to do is make sure that these keywords are embedded in your listing. So the title is the most important part. You want to make sure that the most important keywords are in your title, right? Title carries the most amount of weight. And then it goes to the back end. So the back end, when you log in, there's like back end search terms, subject matters. Those carry a lot of weight as well. And then you want to put in your 5 bullet points and your product description with the leftover keywords. But your most important keywords, make sure they're in a title. This is really important, guys. Like, title is super important. Subject matter, back end search terms. If you have your important keywords in there, it's good. But like, that's the part where I feel like a lot of beginners, even intermediate people. Like today, I was interviewing Casey from Viral Launch, and he gave me a case study. He's like, one of our clients thought the only way to be successful on Amazon was to launch more products. So he did. He launched so many different products. But the thing with that is cash flow and inventory management. It's a headache, right? But then Casey's like, hey, like, you need to focus on one product at a time and make sure that it's very well optimized. And they grew from like 200,000 to like over 1 million just by doing that tactic, because now they're servicing people that are selling vitamin C serum, they're servicing people that sell face serum, and they're covering the entire market with keywords. That's the name of the game, is you need to be ranking on page 1 for as many keywords as possible so that whoever's looking for your product, doesn't matter who they are, what kind of spelling they're making, they can find your product. If they can't find your product, they can't buy it.
Yeah, it's a really, really good point. And you know, another way of defining that is what we call long-term keywords. So it's those more unique, you know, instead of it being water bottle, it's black, you know, sports water bottle. If someone's typing in water bottle versus black sports water bottle, the chances of them buying off of that more long-tail keyword is much higher. So your ranking goes up as well. So a way to help with that, because you obviously have an idea of what keywords are out there, but if you pull the search term report once you start running pay-per-click, it'll show you the actual words that people are typing in and how they bought your product, and that will help you with the long tail. So it's a really good point. On the images side, which again, I actually rate that as probably the #1 thing, because you know, it's like Tinder for products. You know, whatever you look at is what you're going to buy. It's telling a story with text overlay as well, you know, and put benefits on, obviously not your main image, but your second, third, fourth. Put a benefit there, tell a story, you know, provide what's valuable about your product, and make sure those are on your images. It's a really important piece to do.
There's a company called Anchor, A-N-K-E-R. Look them up on Amazon, copy what they do. They're massive sellers, and their images are just, I copy their images. Yeah. So if you are like, oh, what the hell are these guys talking about, infographics and stuff, look up Anchor. Like, just copy everything they do, and you'll do good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and on the reviews, I think that 10 is a good reference, because yes, there's things related to the algorithm and stuff, but it's really just social proof. You know, you need enough reviews that if someone comes to it and looks at the image, again, it's visual, right? So it's the image and it's the star rating and how many reviews you have. If you have enough, they're going to be like, oh, this product is well rated, they're going to buy it. So getting those, at least those 10 up front is really important. Right. So wow, man, this is a crazy journey for you. How many products did you launch, or have you launched over that year and a half to get to this 200,000 a month? Yeah. You know, is it a lot, or is it just really focused on some core ones and finding the right product, or a combination of both?
Yeah,
like it's an incredible journey that you did that.
Yeah, so we have 5 products. We have a couple of accounts. One of our main accounts, the one that did 200,000, actually just a few days after we did 200,000, my actual account got suspended. And it was, I want to share this with you guys because it's not all sunshine and rainbow. Like, if I wanted to see you guys see me win, but when I lose, I also want to share my failures with you, because that's like transparency that's like my principle and my belief. So with the reviews, with my account getting suspended, that's I honestly, I quit my job on December 17th. Funny story about
of 2017. Yeah.
Funny story about that real quick is I was documenting my journey on YouTube, and then I started like a Facebook page, and a bunch of people at my work liked the Facebook page, and the Facebook page banner says, I'm gonna quit my 6-figure job to pursue Amazon. And the second day, my manager like called me in. This
is still yellow pages, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my manager's like, what the hell are you doing? You can't, he's like, you can't say things like that when you're working. I'm like, yeah, you're right. He's like, yeah. He's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, give me a couple days to think about it. And then that actually ended up being, I know one of the questions you're gonna ask is like, when was that turning point? When I quit my job was the turning point. We get a really big bonus in March, and my plan was to actually quit in March, and then I forfeited that big bonus. And then I was like, you know what, screw the money. I was selling a product that I didn't believe in. Yellow Pages was a product that didn't really help too many people. So I quit. And then once I quit my job, my Amazon account started growing. At that point, I think we're doing 20,000 or 30,000, something like that. And then from December 17th until April-ish, we scaled from 30,000 to 200,000.
Wow.
So, but for me, it was like, I was on the moon every day, right? I was like, look at my account, it's like, keeps growing, keep growing.
Like, I don't understand this.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. But then throughout that time, I got really comfortable. And that was my biggest regret, because I should have used that momentum to launch more products. But instead, I was like, woo, just like reordering products and doing whatever, right? But that's a lesson learned for me. It's like, never, ever be comfortable. So now I got my account back. We're still working our way up to 200,000 and obviously scaling, but I hired a team locally. I'm building a team now, and we're just gonna aggressively launch products on Amazon, because I know it works. I know how to really find good products and make money, but it's just a matter of that initial part. It's like finding the products, talking to suppliers. Like, it's so boring, right? It's so slow, and I hate that. But now I have a team that takes care of it for me, so I'm just like, give me a product. If it's good, contact supplier, let's launch it. So right now we're just literally, like, we're probably launching like 10 or 15 in the next couple months, where I'm just throwing money at it because I know it works. I
mean, and it's a small point you made there, but it's a really good one in that you started to grow your business, but now you're also investing into your business in terms of growing your team and your processes, so that you're not stuck just doing that, research and that thing on a daily basis. You're now starting to manage a team that can really grow and scale your business. And I think a lot of people don't do that when they start to make money there. They stick with the way they were doing things originally, and you can't. You have to start to grow and to make it into a big company, because that's ultimately what you want to be.
Yeah. So, I got really comfortable. And then when our account got suspended, it was just like a big slap to the face. Like, hey, wake up. Like, anything could be gone anytime. So now we're diversifying off of Amazon. We're building our brand outside Amazon. We're working with some really solid partners that I was very lucky enough to link up with. So they're helping with that process. And I essentially want to build a real brand, right? Because one thing about Amazon, it's great. Like, don't let me discourage you. I can't thank Jeff Bezos enough if I ever meet him. But Amazon's great, but the end goal is not to have an Amazon business. Because the thing with the Amazon businesses is that first of all, you're playing on their court, you're playing on their turf. So I got suspended like that, no warnings, right? the thing is, when someone buys a product on Amazon, that's not your customer. That's Amazon's customers. And what do businesses need? They need customers. So when I got my account suspended, it was like 200, 0. And I can't even reach to my customers. I can't even tell them my account is suspended. Hey, I have a website, come on, buy it. So that's a problem. And I know that that could happen anytime, ever, like again. So now we're diversifying. So one of the really cool ways for the sellers right now that are selling on Amazon, one of the easiest ways for you to essentially steal Amazon's customers and turn them into yours is you can download, so you can use Zon Pages, and then you can use their email appendix service, and then they essentially go out and find all their emails, the customers' emails, and you can collect that email, and then you can send them emails. Don't send them like coupons and sales stuff right away. I actually don't even think you're supposed to do that, but another more white hat way is you download that information, you can upload it on Facebook, and Facebook actually start linking lookalike audience or even custom audience. Custom audience just means, hey, Facebook, these are my customers from Amazon, these are their email addresses, first name, last name, whatever. Upload them to Facebook, go find their Facebook profile for me. And you're able to actually start targeting them with ads. So once you target with them ads, you can do things like, hey, here's a cheat sheet, or hey, here's a 50% off coupon, and you start getting them to opt into your funnel, right? And then that's how you can start growing your real customer base outside of Amazon.
Yeah, it's a good way of doing it. I think Amazon is a little bit protective over that right now, just even from the meeting that I was in. You know, just because ultimately Amazon wants to protect their customer. You know?
Absolutely.
Another way of doing that, which is a little bit less risky, I think, is to include an insert in your product, and you know, when people read that, you can drive them to a website and hopefully give them some information and start a dialogue there. So that's another way. So let's switch gears a little bit. But you know, you had this crazy journey, and it's up and down and all over the place. But tell me a little bit about the mental side of it. You know, you've moved out of a job. You're now on your own. You're having to build this. How did you approach that? What are your thoughts around the mental side of being an entrepreneur, especially in this space?
Yeah, so like when I was working 9 to 5, right, I realized that I was working 9 to 5. And what I mean by that is everybody in the world has 24 hours. Doesn't matter if you're Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, us. That's the only currency that everybody has, is 24 hours, right? We sleep for, let's say, 8 hours, we eat, I was going to work, and I knew that my time is limited. Like, the amount of time that I can spend on my Amazon business, there's only that period of window. So during that period of window, I recognize that, I realize that. So when I get home, that period of window, you better be working on your Amazon. Like, you are already at a huge disadvantage over your competitors who maybe they don't have jobs, maybe that's their full-time job, they can work 12 hours a day, they don't have a boss to report to, they can just stay at home and launch products. Those are your competitors, right? So I realized that I have an unfair advantage already, so that when I got home, it was just like work. Like so my schedule for the past like a year and a half was really get up in the morning, listen to podcasts, go to my work, which is like 40 minutes away, listen to audiobooks, work, and then come back home at 6 o'clock, eat dinner, and just like park my ass in front of a computer and work from 6:30 till 11 or 12. On weekends, I would just, you know, work from like 12 to 8. So I'm really trying to work a lot. Yeah, so that's and it becomes a habit, right? It becomes like a routine. At the beginning, it's hard, but it really does become a routine, and then you don't even feel like you're working anymore. So that's part one. Part two, in terms of mental, I would say that I'm very, very lucky because I was documenting my journey on YouTube, and I now have an audience that I feel responsible for, and I can't just quit my journey. Like, I feel like there's people watching me all the time. So I'm using that as my motivation. I'm using that as my leverage to just keep doing bigger and better things, because I know there's people out there that's watching me.
That's an amazing point. I think that if you can rely on someone, if you have to provide value to someone else, that's such motivation more than self-motivation. And the fact that you managed to create that is amazing.
Yeah, and I encourage everybody to document their journey. Honestly, like I didn't know what the hell I was doing like when I first started Amazon, but I told people that I didn't know what I was doing, and this is how I did it. Maybe learn from my mistakes. Hey, this worked, this didn't work. And there are people there, like the first thing is when I tell my group, like, hey, document your journey. Oh, who's gonna watch me? trust me, there's a lot of relatable people in your position right now that want to watch exactly what you are doing. So I pick up a camera. Everybody have a freaking cell phone. Just start videotaping yourself and put it online, and you'll be very surprised how. Honestly, man, like that's probably the best move that I made, like, in my life. Just putting myself out there in the world. Like, I don't know who's gonna watch, but just stay authentic to yourself, and people can see that. People can really see that, and people value that, and people need that. And through that, the amount of people that I met throughout the past year is just life changing. Honestly, at the end of the day, like it was like my partner David sitting over there. We met on YouTube. Like funny story about that real quick is when I quit my job, right? I forfeited that bonus. And then during that time, Viral Launch was doing a sign up. They were doing a new software, and they were telling people like, hey, they were reaching out to all the YouTubers, like, hey, we're launching this new software. The first, who can drive us the most amount of affiliates, right? And I knew there was bigger people out there that can have a large audience. At that time, I had this very small YouTube channel, very small Facebook group. But then I saw David, and I was like, hey, David, let's be partners on this, so we can combine our efforts and actually maybe take down these people, right? And then we did, and then there was 4 prizes in total, and we took home 3, just me and him. So that's when I realized, I was like, man, like we worked really well. What else can we do? I took that as a sign, and then we launched our first bootcamp. That went extremely well. Then now we formed like Ecom Hub, which is our business. So just taking those small things, again, at the end of the day, guys, like it's all about the people that you meet. Like for me, I think the first person was Maggie. Maggie was the person that introduced me to Yellow Pages. Like without meeting her, my life, I don't know where I would be right now. Honestly, I have no idea. So what I'm trying to say is, it just takes one person, and your life could literally change like directions. And 2 years later, 5 years later, when you look back, you're like, that's a trip. Like that was crazy. The fact that that one person, that one interaction has led me to a completely different path, hopefully for the better, but it definitely could be for the worse as well. Like I'm sure we've known relationships where we get stuck with someone and they're negative and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even in these times, these digital times, the community is probably, just as you said, it's one of the most important things about your success, and if you are starting getting out to different conferences, coming to things like this, you meet that one person, and it makes you can all look back, and there's going to be someone who's changed your life. So
it's crazy.
So if you're a new seller, and a lot of people are here, what's the one piece of advice that you would pass on to them?
Yeah, so if you're a new seller, the best way to learn Amazon is actually just by doing it. So what I mean by that is this: it's go on AliExpress, Alibaba, buy something for $10, buy 10 units of something, right? Ship it to Amazon, create your Amazon account. You invested $200.
Yeah, buy them yourself if you want.
Just buy whatever. Don't even look too much into the product. Just buy whatever, right? That has the criteria that I mentioned, and then ship it to Amazon. Now you've done what? You know how the shipping label works. You know how this works, that works. You know how to open an Amazon account, and then turn on automatic PPC. Now you know how to turn on automatic PPC, and just watch the sales come in. It will, most likely it will, but who cares if it doesn't? You lost $200, so what? But now you've gained those tactical things that instead of watching someone on YouTube do it, it's completely different from you watching someone do it and you doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And just go through that process, and then shut down your Amazon account, right? Turn it off, and then invest into a mentor. Again, there's 2 ways to learn things. At Yellow Pages, I could have easily said, you know what? I'm gonna learn this myself, right? I'm gonna do this myself, but I found success by emulating someone else. So find someone that you wanna be, and just emulate everything he's doing. And again, when I say mentorship, it's like there needs to be a two-way street of exchange of value. At the end of the day, you can't just expect people to reply to you like, hey, I have a question, and you write a freaking essay. Like, people have things to do as well, right? They're people as well. So provide value to them. And if they have a course, if they have something, there's a reason why they put that together. One of the things about mentorship is, like, I'm willing to help people, but my risk is them taking the knowledge and not doing anything with it, because I literally just completely wasted my time. right? I should have been rather watching Netflix or something. So that's the risk. But so what I'm trying to say is that if you want to find a mentor, and if they have some sort of a paid thing, to the mentor, that shows them that you're committed. Like, money talks, right? You put the money down, you're like, hey, let's do this. To the mentor, they're like, all right, this person's committed, I'm gonna meet them halfway. Or again, you can learn yourself. You can make the mistakes, or hopefully you don't, but majority of the people do. Because Amazon, it's no different than, I don't know, like learning how to drive a car. You know what I mean? Like, we all took driving classes. Like, we all sat in, we understood what's the right pedal, the left pedal, how to turn. You didn't just, oh, I'm gonna drive a car. You gotta go in the car and start driving. None of us did that. You had a driving instructor, you had your mom and dad, whatever it might be. So why is it different than Amazon? I think Amazon's harder than driving a car, right? But once you launch that first product and it becomes successful, none of us have driving instructors anymore sitting beside us. Why? Because we know how to do it. The same as Amazon, it's a formula. It's like it's the thing I love about Amazon is that it's a very step-by-step process. It's like cooking a steak. If I give you the recipe card, I tell you where to buy the steak, how like the oven needs to be turned to this. It's very hard for you to screw it up. But right now, people don't have that formula. They have a bunch of information on YouTube, Google, podcasts. Information's coming in. They're like, I have no idea what to do. Information is good, but action steps is better. A blueprint is what you need. Gotcha. So you need to find a blueprint somewhere.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so I think we're going to open it up for questions just in about a minute. But the last question I have for you is I've got to ask, because one of my mentors is Tom Bilal through Impact Theory, and I know you met with him like 2 days ago. How was that? And any insights from? If you guys haven't checked out Impact Theory, the podcast, check it out. He's awesome.
It was so Tom Bilal. I've been following him on social media for a long time. He is actually the owner of Quest Nutrition, so Quest bars. So a lot of you guys have heard of Quest bars. Crazy story about Tom was him and his partners were about to launch this like crazy software company. They have funding, VCs, throwing money at them. Right before they were about to launch the software company, he called it quits. He walked into a meeting with all his partners. He's like, guys, something inside of me is telling me that this is not the right thing for me. So I'm gonna get back all my shares, I'm gonna get back all my money, and I want out. That's crazy, right? And that company was gonna be a multi-billion-dollar company, for sure. But something deep inside of him, he couldn't explain it. And then he just drove off. And then his partners called him, he's like, hey Tom, look, like, we don't expect you to come back. We're not here to convince you to come back. We know that you're a stubborn guy, that you're not gonna do it. But can you just tell us, like, why did you do that? And he just pretty much said, like, throughout this whole experience of building this business with you guys are my brothers, but I feel like we lost that relationship. I feel like we are no longer brothers, we're just partners, business partners and whatnot. And they're like, you know what, man, you're right. And all of them quit that company. All of them just quit that software company. They gave up billions of dollars. And what they ended up doing was they ended up forming Quest Nutrition, which ended up turning into a multi-billion-dollar company. And he's making an impact in the world through nutrition. So I've been following this guy for a very long time because I find that his messaging, it takes a very special person to do that, right? I find his messaging is like 10 levels deeper than most of the, the Gary V's and the this and that. So yeah, I've been following for a long time. And then one day on Instagram, I saw that he was looking for like comic artists. So comic artists, one of my partners, Russell, went to school for conceptual arts. He's a artist at heart. Like, he reads comic books, Marvel, he paints. That's what he does for fun. And then now he helps us with Amazon graphic design, but I know that it's not, he's making great money, but I know that's not him, you know what I mean? And I told Russell, I was like, dude, you have to send your portfolio to this guy. Just like DM him, just send it to him and see what happens. And the guy liked his work. And he's like, hey, come to LA, I want to meet you in my house. Oh, cool. So I was like, yo, Russell, I'm coming. Like, I know nothing about art, but I'm coming to that meeting, right? So he took me to the meeting. We walked into his house. He was having another meeting at his house. We sat down. We were waiting for him. He came in, just like, hey, what's up, guys? I was like, not much. You? No, but he sat down, and one of the things that I saw right away was how focused and curious he was. Because he's not an art guy. He's a business guy. And he was just like flipping through the portfolio, like asking questions. Doesn't matter if they're smart or dumb, just questions. Like, how did you do that? where did you buy the material for that? Like, what is this? Very curious, always like so focused. When you're talking to him, he's like staring into your soul. Like you felt so present. It was so present that there was nothing else, just you and him interaction. So I felt that was really interesting. And then at the end, I asked him, I was like, hey, like, or Russell asked him, like, why are comic books? Like, what's going on here? And he pretty much wants to make an impact in the world. And how he wants to make an impact is through films. However, with films and movies like Disney is impacting billions of people, right? When I say Disney, you think of happiness, you think of this and that. There's emotional triggers. But when I say Sony, like, I don't know what you think of, maybe a camera or something, right? But they still produce films. So he wants to essentially be the next Disney. That's his vehicle of getting him to where he is today, to impacting billions of people. But the thing with movies is very high budget. So if you invest $100 million into a movie, it does well, great. If not, you're screwed, you're bankrupt, right? So he looked at the next best alternative. Like, what is something that's kind of like film related, but it's not a movie? Comic books. Comic books right now have 100,000 purchases per, like the best selling comic book on Amazon does $100,000 in units a month, which is nothing. But the thing is, over 14 million, don't quote me on this number, I completely forgot, but some crazy amount of people pirate comic books. And he's like, I don't give a shit if people actually pirate it. I want people to pirate it. So I'm gonna launch these comic books, and that's my way in to build a community. And once I have the community, I can go to Hollywood and I can say, hey, look at all these fans that I have, now let's make a movie. And I want merchandising, I want this, I want that. But it was very interesting just the way he was going through. So like he wants to make an impact, right? That's his end goal. So like it was very interesting the way he explained how he was planning to get there, and there was a roadblock such as the $100 million, how he thought about the next best alternative. So I thought that was really interesting. And at the end, I was like, hey man, like, can I take a photo with you? So we're in the living room, and he's like, yeah, of course. Like, let's, like, why would you ask a stupid question? Let's take it, right? That was the type of the feel that I got. Gotcha. It wasn't like, hey, yeah, of course. And to my surprise, like small things like this just really make a big impact. Was the fact that he didn't just take a photo with us in his living room. Instead, he has a studio where he does all his podcasts. He invites people to his house, and he like went to the studio, turned on the lighting, told us to sit down. He took the photos for us. He's like, oh, you guys go first, and I'll join you guys. Just like such a down-to-earth dude. And this guy is worth, I mean, according to Google, it's 400 million, but I'm sure it's not. It's not. It's either more or less. But to him, and then one thing I want to share with you guys, I made a video. At the end, I was like, hey, let me take a video with you. And I asked him, like, what's one piece of advice that you will give to young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in general, not age-wise, but entrepreneur life-wise, right? Like, what's one piece of advice you will give to them right now? And he pretty much said, what did he say? He pretty much said, like, don't just go for the money. Yeah. Money is great. Money is better than what you think. But a lot of people work their ass off, and they realize that they're miserable as F. Right? They're miserable. But why is that? They lost who they are as a person, their self-fulfillment. And the best line that I got through this entire, like this is a life-changing line for myself, was when he said the only thing that matters in the entire world, the only thing matters is when you're by yourself, how do you feel about yourself? Like how do you feel about yourself when you're by yourself? That's the only thing that matters. Nothing else. No Amazon, no nothing. And then I was like, man, like that hit the point, because one of the things for me was when I grew my business from 100 to 2, when I first hit the 100, I literally shed a tear, right? Because I look back on all the late nights, all the hard work that I put in. I'm like, damn, boom, I hit that mark. It was amazing. I felt goosebumps. I cannot describe the feeling that I had because I know the amount of work that I put in. But when that 100 became 200, I didn't feel a thing. I didn't feel shit. I didn't feel nothing. I was like, oh wait, the 1 became a 2. What now? The 2 becomes a 3? 3 becomes a 4? It's not bringing me any more self-fulfillment. So what I ended up doing was, now I want to teach other people Amazon so that they can experience that feeling I had when I hit the first 100. Maybe it's 10,000 for you. Maybe it's 1,000. I don't know. Everybody have different goals. But that feeling was just like, I cannot describe it. So that's my mission going forward, taking what Tom said. It's like, I want to make an impact in the world as well. I'm not a fitness coach. I can help you to get huge. I'm not a health coach. But I know how to make money online. I know how to build Amazon businesses. And that's what I want to contribute. And I made a personal goal of mine. I told Tom this as well. I said, I want to help 1,000 people over the next 12 months to build 6-figure businesses. And that, for me, right now, is what I feel like will give me self-fulfillment. But once I achieve that goal, maybe there's something else. I don't know, right? It was an incredible meeting. Just sitting in the same room with that guy was just, it was amazing. I recommend every single one of you guys to listen to his podcast. It's called Impact Theory. He dives very, very deep into self-fulfillment. And I think at the end of the day, he's right.
Yeah,
that's the only, you can have $1 billion, but if you're miserable, what's the point?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, that's spot on, and I think it's about finding your why. But sometimes, you know, that journey of finding your why as your business evolves, that evolves as well. And as long as you're working on both together, you know, it might be helping 1,000 people, you know, over this time. But once you achieve that, as long as then it's, okay, where am I taking my business, but also what am I doing with my why, you know? And if you can grow both of those, your sense of self-fulfillment becomes bigger and bigger as you learn. So thank you, man. That was amazing. I really enjoyed that. And I'm going to open it up to questions. So if you guys have questions on Amazon or anything, let's do a couple of questions. I think it's 5 to 9. We probably have about 10 minutes of questions. So who's got one? These guys are great. They came all the way from whereabouts?
Yeah, like also I just want to say,
they drove all
yeah,
the way
like I sincerely want to say thank you for everyone who came. That traffic coming in was crazy. It was nuts. It was, so the fact that you guys took time out of your night to come here and listen to me talk, it means a lot to me. So yeah, thank you for everyone coming.
So Tom, who were your mentors?
I have lots right now. I have a lot of mentors right now.
At the beginning, who were your mentors from the beginning to like give you the inspiration like you're giving everyone?
Like you want names or?
Well, yeah.
Okay. There was one guy by the name of Ryan Rigney. He is a lawyer based out of San Diego, and he built a 6-figure business as well. He helped me to kind of change my mindset of saying, hey, you're not just building an Amazon business, you're building a brand, and there's so many other tools that you can use to utilize, such as Facebook ads, Google ads, because for me, it's like Amazon, PPC. There's only so much you can do on Amazon, but there are so many other things outside of Amazon you can leverage to drive traffic to Amazon to make it more successful and for you to have more competitive advantages. So he was number one. Well, not in any order, but there's another guy by the name Anthony Bui Tran from Seller Tradecraft. He was someone that, it's all about these like mental shifts, because I was like, I'm launching products. I didn't have a plan. And he actually gave us an Excel document where it laid everything out, and that was like a strategic plan. I'm like, oh, like now I can quantify things. Like this is how much money I'm gonna make. This is how much money I'm gonna lose. So that was really, really cool. Those are my two right off the beginning, and then it just like evolved into other like bunch of other people, because now I'm learning from, you know, I'm in a Slack group with a few huge sellers. They're all my mentors. I think mentorship, like it really depends where you are at, because that's going to evolve as well. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm following you on YouTube, and I've been following a lot of your stories. So
Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted to let you know, like, you're impacting a lot of people in a lot of different ways.
Thank you.
Also, I was going to ask you, do you recommend any books?
Books. My favorite book that I've ever read was by, I forget who it was by, but it's called The Shoe Dog Phil Knight. It's the story of Nike, how he basically built Nike into the empire it is today. And my biggest takeaway from the book was the fact that he was just a normal dude. Like, he was from Portland. There's not much going on there, especially back in that time. He wanted to travel, and that's what and he was just a normal guy. Like, if you read his books, it's like he failed so many times, but what turned him around was he aligned himself with like really smart people that had things that he didn't have. And now it's a it's Nike. I don't need to explain how big it is. But yeah, it was like the fact that he was a normal guy. He was just like you and I. And like, I'm just like you. You heard my failures. Like, you heard the fact that I got kicked out of universities. No one wanted my position. But like, throughout all of that, like I believed in myself. There was never one moment where I doubted saying, oh, you're gonna be working, like you're gonna be unhappy for the rest of your life. I always knew that my future was gonna be bright. I like, that's one thing I always knew. And one thing I can also say is the law of attraction. I never believed in any of that cheesy stuff like, oh, whatever you put in the world gets back. But like through experiences that I personally experienced, all the dots have connected for me. Like Steve Jobs, he says, you know, all the dots will connect. And it's connecting. Like everything I'm looking back, when that moment was crappy, when that moment was low, when that moment, but without those moments, I really wouldn't be where I am today. So now I have that mentality. It's like all the dots connect. Like whatever's happening to you today happened for a reason. It's not a coincidence anybody is here. Like it's not a coincidence. But what you go out from this room, we may meet again, we may not. That's completely up to you. I'm not gonna come to your house and knock on your door and say how your business is doing. But you are then gonna take, like 50% of you guys, I'm gonna be honest, you guys are gonna feel like pumped as hell right now, motivated. You guys go home and probably not do anything. It's just the reality, because if it's easy, everybody will be doing it. Everybody will be, you know, doing 200K a month. It's hard. It's really, really hard. But that's the thing. It's like, just, you can't give up, because if you can think that you can do it and you just work on it every single day, and I know that sounds so cliche, but just look at my story, man. Like I failed my first 2 products. I almost gave up, but if I did, I would not be where I am today. Yeah, so.
Yeah, there's that saying, ideas are easy, action is everything. You know?
Just take action every single day. Do something. Like even the smallest thing, it's the momentum. Do the smallest little thing, even if you don't feel like, just show up. That's the thing. Just show up, and even if you don't feel like it, just show up and do something that's very small. Forms a pattern, and then a year later, you would be a year ago today, I almost, what is July?
July
Whatever,
17th.
but that's pretty much when I wanted to quit my business. A year ago, exactly a year ago, when I quit I was working a 9 to 5 that I absolutely hate. If you told me like, Tom, this is what you'd be doing a year later, I'd be like, get out of here. Like,
it's funny, yeah, it's just sparked something for me, because I remember someone saying that to me, like, you know, just think, like if you do something every single day, look back in 6 months and see how far you've come. And I was like, I don't really know. And then I remember that vivid moment of being that 6 months ahead and looking back and just being like, holy shit, I can't believe how much I've achieved just by doing one little thing a day while I had my 9 to 5 or whatever it was. So
it's absolutely crazy. Just do something every single day. The compound effect is real. It will add up, and you'll be very, very surprised of how far you can go in just 1 year, guys. 1 year.
Yeah.
Time will fly like just, yeah.
First of all, thank you for coming out and dealing with our early traffic. 2 questions that I have are, you mentioned like having several.
Can you speak into the mic a little?
You mentioned about having several Amazon accounts, and I've heard a lot of people talk about that. How many did you say that you had, and what would you recommend that like a beginner seller or average seller should or start developing to avoid the risk of getting suspended?
Yeah.
The second part of the question, I guess, leads into, I noticed a lot of larger sellers sometimes have, they'll have like their FBM, and they'll have their FBA in terms of like their stock and inventory. I was wondering if you could explain what potentially the tactics behind that.
Yeah. So if you're a beginner, don't worry about any of that stuff. It does not matter. Just get out of your head, because that's stuff that you're thinking about. That anyway, I believe in the 80-20 rule, right? But the answer to your question is, right now I'm opening up another 1, so I'm gonna have 4 Amazon. I have access to 4 Amazon accounts. Now, why do people have so many Amazon accounts? Well, one of the main reasons is avoid suspension. So let me explain. If you go on Amazon.com right now, find vitamin C serum, and you type that in, and you see a listing. If your account gets suspended, by theory, that listing will still be there, because it's like a Wikipedia page almost, right? Your account will get suspended, but the ASIN is still public. So if there's Amazon's an open marketplace. So if there's other sellers selling your product, your ASIN will actually still be there, even though your account will get suspended. So, well, the loophole is then you create another account, and you can ship inventory into Amazon or not, FBM, like you said, and that way, if one of the accounts is suspended, then at least you have the backup option and the ASIN is still there, right? But again, if you're a beginner, do not worry about that. Like,
I think, yeah, and I think a bigger learning there is don't get suspended. And I know that sounds normal, but you know, it's so easy to take the short-term hack to try and get somewhere and think it's a clever way of doing it and get ahead, but it's going to bite you in the ass eventually. And you're creating a solid business that is sustainable, that you want to grow over time. You don't need to hack things. You need to create a damn good product, and you do your research and do the big things right, and it's going to happen. And you know, if you do it, you know, Amazon wants you to succeed. So don't put yourself in a position as much as you can to get suspended. And I think that's probably a learning you might have from why you got suspended, but you know, avoid that.
Yeah, and one of the other things I want to touch, I didn't say this in the talk, was I feel like a lot of people, the first question they ask, hey, is Amazon saturated, right? That's so many people, oh, it's getting harder and harder. I would argue that it's not getting harder or easier, it's just different. Like, the landscapes have changed so much. Amazon is changing every single day, especially in the past like 3 months. Ranking, reviews, like, it's crazy, right? So you need to stay updated to the information. And what you also need to do, and this is going to be your competitive advantage, is offer your customers the best experience possible. I was in Nova Scotia. I'm not sure if you guys know where that is. It's on the Canadian East Coast. A lot of lobsters and fish and stuff like that, to visit my girlfriend's parents. And I was at the airport, and I ran into this guy who owns a company called East Coast Lifestyle. It's a clothing brand. I saw him on Gary Vee's, one of the Gary Vee's show. And I walked up to him, I was like, hey, like, I recognize you, you're on Gary Vee. He's like, yeah, man. And we're going through security, right? And then he was with his girlfriend, I was with my girlfriend. And then they went first because my boarding ticket wasn't working, my phone was whatever. And took about 10 minutes to get through. And to my surprise, this guy was waiting for me at the end of this, on the other side. And he came up to us, he's like, hey man, like, I just want to give you 2 of our hats. Like, it was such an amazing gesture. And now I'm talking about his brand. You know what I mean? It's all like these micro little touches that really grow a brand. Like, he cares about his customers. Whereas the other person, I went to Montreal for the F1 Formula weekend, and we went to see this DJ, and I was like, dude, I love your music, like, send me some stuff. I follow him within like 5 times. They're not big. They're small, like, they're 2 kids who just started. But I'm his customer. I'm trying to get his products. He's not even giving it to me. So those are the difference between a good business person, a bad business person. A good business person cares a lot about their customers. They'll go out of their way to make the customer feel really good. So if you can offer a customer that experience, they will stay with you for a lifetime, right?
And that, yeah, I mean, just to add to that, like, when I get a really bad review, if I can get hold of that customer and turn him into a 5-star review, I love that, because it's an opportunity to connect with someone and turn it into an amazing experience from something that was bad. And that just, you know, tenfold will go out into the marketplace. So a bad review is an opportunity to give that level of customer service that maybe they haven't had yet. So
just often. And I feel like a lot of people, oh, the Chinese suppliers, Chinese factories are now selling on Amazon, like, oh, what do we do? I can tell you one thing right now, like, they just care about launching products. Like, they don't really care about the customer experience or the branding. Like, they can do black hat this, black hat that, but one of the black hat, they can't go into some, you know, like, black hat experience. You know what I mean? So that's your competitive advantage. It's like, do things out of your way to offer them. I honestly get reviews of people saying, I haven't used your product yet, but your customer service is on point, and here's 5 stars. I get that all the time. Because I send them, I take care of them. They're my like bloodline. So yeah.
Okay, maybe if there is one more question, otherwise we can call it. Is there one more? Yes, last one.
Yes. Yeah, so one of the first things is when they send me an email with a question, I literally reply right away. I reply them within like 5 to 10 minutes. Either me, my girlfriend, or someone on my team. And they're like, oh, wow, like, I got a reply right away on a Friday evening. Like, right away, that sets a tone. Also, just sending them a lot of email follow-ups. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like to bug that customer too much. Like, I send 5 emails, or 4. I send 4 emails. That's a lot of emails to be sending to someone. But it's all about how you position the emails, right? I'm not telling them, hey, leave me a review, leave me a review, leave me a review. I'm like offering value. I'm teaching them how to use the products, I'm telling them our brand story. We're a small family business. That line works really well and is true. And just talking to them like a real person, build that relationship. So that's all we've been doing. And I mean, there's a bunch of different other ways that you can do, but that's all we've been doing, and it's working pretty well. But I'm always thinking of ways where we can improve that experience.
Yeah, I think it boils down to authenticity. You know, like how Tom is talking here, it's like he really wants to make that customer's experience great. He doesn't want to get a review. That's not his end goal. You know, he doesn't want to sell them more at this point. You know, so his number one goal is to give them a great customer experience. If you can do that, and that comes through as authentic, you'll get stuff like that where people just say, hey, you know, that was amazing. Here's 5 stars. Let's go. Yeah. Thank you. I think maybe Chris, do you want anything? You want to say anything? So Chris over here, Chris runs Seller Insights and puts this together. So if you haven't joined our group, speak to him. But I don't know if there's anything else that you want to say.
I was just going to say, be sure to join our Facebook group. It's called Amazon Seller Insights. It's a private group. Just go ahead and request it. I'll give you guys. And also, I want to give a shout out to Tom and his group. If you guys haven't joined his group, along with David, it's called Ecom Hub. It's also a really solid group. They're really active. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in that group. And Tom is like, I feel like there's like 5 of him because he's always like on his computer responding to all his comments. So be sure to join the group, join ours, and thank you everybody for coming. And
maybe just a round of applause for Tom. Yeah, thank you, man.